Welcome to the next lesson, the Raving Fan Customer Service System. And here's what we'll be covering: why customer service is critical for all Amazon sellers, the return on investment of having amazing customer service, the 8 principles of Raving Fan Customer Service, setting up your Amazon account for commenting on reviews, and your first negative review and how to handle it. Most experienced sellers will tell you that a negative review avoided is much better than a positive review gained. And it takes between 3 and 5 positive reviews to counteract the effects of just one negative review, which is why, if at all possible, we want to try to avoid them, even though eventually they will happen. Good customer service can do just that and help you avoid a lot of negative reviews. We've had members who've had products with thousands of issues, and still those products had good star ratings. And it's all because of really good customer service. But in addition to helping stop negative reviews, great customer service also helps increase repeat purchases, referrals, positive reviews, which all lead to increased sales. Let's take a quick look at the numbers and see how this all works out. Let's take a look at 2 hypothetical situations, but both using realistic numbers. In the first, you offer mediocre customer service and you sell 1,000 units. Let's say that 100 people are really happy customers and half of them give you a review. That would be 50 5-star reviews. Then you have 850 people that are satisfied, somewhere in the middle, so you get a lower review rate. Let's say only 10% give you a review. That would be 85 4.5-star reviews. But then you have 50 very unhappy customers, and half of those people give a review. That would be 25 2.5 average star reviews. When you add it all up, you get 160 total reviews with an average review rating of 4.25. Not really bad, but not great either. Now let's take a look at another example. In this scenario, we're going to sell the exact same number of units, 1,000, but we're going to offer them what we call Raving Fan Customer Service. When you do that, we double the number of really happy customers. And using the same 50% review rate, we get 100 5-star reviews. That leaves less people that are in the middle, so we only have 775 satisfied customers. And at a 10% review rate, that's 78 4.5-star reviews. And we also cut down on the number of unhappy customers. We only have 25, and at a 50% review rate, that's 13 2.5-star reviews. Now we do the math, we get 191 reviews, and the average review rating is 4.6 stars. That may not seem like a big difference, but it really is. Imagine you're a customer. Which product would you buy? Product A with 160 reviews and a 4.25 rating? Or product B with 191 reviews, which is 20% more, and a 4.6 rating? But it goes even further than that. Product B will continue pulling ahead because it continues to get more reviews. And that means it's going to get more repeat purchases, more referrals, and more sales. And within a year, it's likely outselling product A at least 2 to 1. Let's go over the 8 principles of Raving Fan Customer Service. First, always assume the customer is right. Then try to be fast. If possible, reply back to them within an hour or less. Be helpful. Go out of your way to help them out, even if it means finding an answer that you may not be responsible for. Do whatever it takes to make them happy, such as refunding them or giving them a free product replacement. Then don't require them to prove anything to you or even reship the product to you. That's a real pain to do, to box something up and send it back in the mail. Even after that's all over, ask them one more time, is there anything else you can do for them? Most people won't take you up on that, but it still feels very good to hear someone say that to you. And be personal. Read and respond to the messages from a real person. You can still use your company name, but put a real name behind your message. And lastly, remember that the smaller you are, the better service that you need to provide. Now, 99 out of 100 times, the customers are being genuine, even if the problem is their fault. But you can use your common sense. And if your spidey senses are tingling and you have a very, very strong suspicion that someone is trying to pull something over on you, then feel free to ask for a bit more information. But in general, you don't want to do that unless you have a very serious concern that they're trying to take advantage of you. The only way to reply to a review is to make what's called a comment on it. And you've probably seen these on Amazon reviews before. But the only way to comment on reviews is you have to have made a purchase on Amazon.com using your Seller Central login. So you'll want to go do that, but make sure you don't buy your own product. That's against terms of service. Just find any other product that you can buy, and that way you'll have the ability then to comment on reviews. You'll also want to set up your Amazon profile so that customers know who you are when commenting on your reviews. You want them to know that you work for the company and that's why you're replying. You can use either your company name or your real name in your profile. And here's how you do that. You go to Amazon.com, not Seller Central. Then you log in with the same email and password as your Seller Central account. Then you go to your account, your profile, edit your profile, and then finally you update your public name to what you want your customers to see when you comment. Let's take a quick look at the screenshots for doing that. So here I am, and I go up and I select my account. Then you'll see the profile down in the lower left-hand corner. Select that. And then you'll see the edit your profile button. Select that. And then finally right there is your public name that you'll want to enter and hit save. But look at everything else on here. All these other things are free places to advertise. So while you're here, go ahead, take advantage of this and put all kinds of information about your company, your Facebook URL, Twitter, YouTube, a bio about you, your website, even your customer service email address. All these are completely fine to put in here, and you should do that. So if people do check you out when you're replying on reviews, they're going to find all different kinds of ways to reach out to you and contact your company. Now let's talk about a very inconvenient truth, and that is the fact that you will eventually get a negative review. No matter what you think, it's going to happen. And when it does happen, here's exactly how you'll feel. Yep, that's right. That's how you're going to feel when you get your first negative review, and maybe your second or third even. However, sometimes you'll realize that there's a legitimate issue. The customer really had a problem, and you need to take care of it. And then sometimes people are just crazy, and they'll expect so many things that you never ever mentioned on your product, or they can talk about a product that's not even your product and still give you a review. You can't change those things. It's simply a fact of selling on Amazon and really just having any business. You will eventually have unhappy customers. Now, a negative review is not the end of the world, but realistically, they can impact your sales, which is why we need to deal with them quickly. Now, the hardest hitting one you'll ever get is your very first negative review, since that's the only time you go from a perfect 5.0 star rating to less than perfect, and you definitely will feel it. So just be prepared for it. It's going to happen. After that, I guarantee they do get easier to handle and easier to deal with. It's never great, but you'll get better at it and you'll be able to move past them much quicker. The best way to think about a review, actually, whether it's negative or positive, is that it's just feedback and it is not a reflection upon you. Regardless of the problem or who's at fault, the customer really is upset and they just want to be taken care of and they want to be heard. It's going to sting, but the only thing that matters is taking care of the customer and then what you do going forward. And you want to take care of the customer quickly to help try and keep a bad review from happening. So what you need next is an action plan. And the first part of that plan is to take care of the customer. You'll want to read and analyze the review. Don't just respond without trying to understand exactly what caused the issue in the first place. Reply to them, apologize, offer to do whatever it takes to take care of the issue, and then ask the customer to reach out to you directly. Now, you cannot give out your company email address in a comment, but you can give them your seller profile URL, which has a button on it that they can push to contact you. To find your seller URL, you simply go to any of the products that you sell and then click on your seller name, and that'll bring you to that screen, and that's the URL you can give them. Also, you can try looking up the customer's order if they used your real name in their review. If you do that, then you can message them directly from inside of Seller Central, and that way you can provide them with a refund or replacement with no questions asked. Again, I would not try to ask them to return anything. It is a pain, and you want to make this as easy as possible for them. Once you've taken care of the customer, next you need to figure out exactly what happened. What was the underlying cause of this issue? Could you have had better instructions, and would that have prevented this from happening? Or is there something wrong on your product detail page, or simply something that needs to be clarified and expanded on a bit? Or maybe it is possible that there's nothing that would have changed this. All products will have some level of defects, and industry standards are usually around 2% or less. And some issues are truly outside of your control. Amazon may have made a mistake, or something may have happened during the shipping process. So then you simply need to decide, is there action you need to take, or do you simply need to move on? And finally, you need to put this in the past. You need to stay positive and keep your focus on growing your business. Now, the best way to counteract a negative review? Go out and get more positive reviews. Looking in seller feedback for feedback that is actually a product review is a great way to do this. Some people intentionally leave this step out of their weekly or daily performance checklist. That way, in case they ever get a negative review, they have a reserve of positive seller feedbacks that they can easily convert into positive reviews. Now, if you need to send a free replacement to a customer, here's exactly how you do that. You go to your Manage Inventory screen inside of Seller Central. Then, on the drop-down menu to the right of the product, select Create Fulfillment Order. Then you fill in the customer's address. You select how fast you want to ship the product, and we usually select 2-day shipping because it's not much more expensive than free, and it's a lot less expensive than overnight. Then we confirm the details, and we click Place Order, and then you let the customer know that a free product is on the way. And that's it for the Raving Fan customer service system. Now it's time to take action. Prepare your Amazon.com account so that you can reply to customer reviews when the time comes. That involves making a purchase and also setting up your profile. And in the next lesson, we're going to learn how to assess the performance of our products by checking and understanding traffic and conversions. So I'll see you over in the next lesson.